Hey everyone, it's your favorite real estate agent in Las Vegas, Robert Steim, Keller Williams, the Marketplace, Steim Realty Network. Hey, we just wrapped up another week, so I wanted to bring you some market data and take a look at what's been going on and try to figure out where this market is headed. So for 22 straight weeks now, we've had the market lose inventory. So the inventory levels just keep dropping 22 weeks straight. If we go back to November 9th, which is the number we've been using every single week, we've seen a drop in the number of available homes. So that just means less options for home buyers out there and potentially a squeeze on pricing if the buyer activity were to pick up. So this past week, the week previously, we were at 4,028. Now we're down to 3,932, and that's down about 2.4%. So keep that trend going, I guess. Like to see the spring selling season bring some more properties on the market. People starting to think about moving and starting by putting their home on the market. So we'll keep an eye on that. But we're down from the number of 8,223 back on November 9th. So we're down over 52% from that number. And as far as sales prices goes, we did see an increase this past week on the average sale price from 508 and change to 526 and change. So that's up nearly 3.5%. And again, the average sales price can be skewed by the higher priced homes that sold and closed to bring that average up. But the medium sales price also increased from 430 to 436 and change. So that's up nearly 1.5%. Again, weekly trends I don't pay a ton of attention to, but it's maybe just an early indication of what might be happening, and something we do want to keep an eye on, and that on a weekly and monthly trend basis. So average days on the market this time decreased. So we're looking at 50 days on average. Last week it was 57. I think the week previous to that was about 50. So we're kind of, maybe last week jumping to 57 was an anomaly in that case. But 50 days on average for a house to sit on the market before getting an offer accepted. And total inventory divided by the number of sales. So we had 350 official sales last week. We'll get into that number again. But we take those numbers and that calculates out to 11.2 weeks of inventory. So we had the inventory decrease, but we also had the number of closed sales drop this past week. So we went from 7.7 weeks of inventory last week to 11.2. So in theory, our inventory, even though it's smaller, should last us longer. But that also is just a weekly number. And I'll show you something else I'm looking at for there. But let's see. If we take a look at the notice of defaults, that continues to rise. We had 49 new filings, and notice of defaults is the pre-foreclosure filing, notifying people that they've fallen behind on their mortgages and an opportunity to catch up. However, foreclosure might be in the future. So we now have a total of 636 filings over the past 15 weeks. So that number continues to climb. And sales activity. So we mentioned properties under contract this week. That this is a new stat for us. Properties that are under contract this week was 657 versus 640 last week. The number I'd covered previously in other weeks was this properties officially sold. So you can see that number changed quite a bit. We had 522 the previous week, but we only had 350 officially sold this past week. So we're down about 33% there. Now that number lags behind just a little bit. So when we calculate that number of weeks of inventory that's left, we use that number because that's what's actually sold. However, if we're looking at activity and seeing what happened last week, we actually had 657 properties go into contract. And the previous week was 640. So the activity was actually up last week from 2.6, but the actual closed, completed sales down about 33%. If somebody's got a loan and they're purchasing a property, we're usually looking at like a 30-day lag time from the time they enter a contract to the time it actually closes and is officially sold. So these 657 homes, for instance, the majority of them will close in about 4 weeks. And so those are all things we're just keeping an eye on as far as what's going on in the market and what the inventory levels are like, trying to guess where the prices might be headed, when's a good time to buy, when's a good time to sell. Right this moment, I would say if you're looking to sell, you don't have a whole lot of competition, probably a good time to think about it and get the ball rolling there. If you're looking to buy, activity is also a little bit low, and there might be people needing to sell but not having enough buyers coming after their property. So you might still be able to negotiate some things as far as maybe a closing cost credit, home warranty, just some favorable terms. But there also are going to be good homes that have been priced properly and still see some bidding wars every once in a while. It's all case by case as always. And then just the key factors driving the real estate market, still the same story. The higher interest rates versus the shrinking inventory. Higher interest rates are suppressing the prices a little bit, making the payments a little bit higher, less affordable, but the shrinking inventory is giving buyers fewer options, giving the sellers the upper hand, and they might be pushing the price up. Right now, we've seen the last 2 months, we've had the prices increase slightly. So as of right now, the market is trending upwards despite the high interest rates. And then as far as the spring buying, selling season, so I feel like we're off, spring started. I feel like we're a little bit off to a slower start, but that can change any week, and we're going to keep an eye out to see what happens. So anyways, if you like this information and would like to see more, we can have you subscribe, comment, and like the video below, and we'll see you next week. Thanks so much.